What's up, Meta Nerds? This video is all about the DC-15S. This is the smaller version of the DC-15A, and both weapons were extensively used by clone troopers throughout the Clone Wars. It was made by Blastech Industries, the same company that would later make the E11. It was defined as a carbine, not a rifle like the DC-15A. It's said to weigh 4.15 kilograms, or 9.15 pounds, but this number might be a little bit off, because that means it weighs 1.5 pounds more than a fully loaded M16, and only about 6 ounces less than the much larger DC-15A, which just seems a little bit off to me. Especially since the whole purpose of this gun is to be a easier to handle, lightweight, and fast shooting version of its big brother. To make sure that this thing could keep a small profile, while still being accurate at a distance if needed, it had a folding stock. The E11 would copy this feature, and it made this weapon great for small, close quarters combat, but it also meant that if the battle extended into open areas, you could easily extend the stock and brace it against your shoulder for increased accuracy. It didn't have a selective fire mode, but the way it worked is that a clone trooper could either tap the trigger and release individual and more accurate bolts, or if needed, he could just hold the trigger down and it would fire in full auto. And if we could look inside the gun, this is how the thing actually fired. In the back here is a cartridge full of Tavano Gas. If you're wondering where you've heard of Tavano Gas before, it was what was being mined at Cloud City on the gas giant Bespin. Up here was a power cell, and when a clone trooper pulled the trigger, it released a burst of Tavano Gas, which was then energized by the power cell, turning this gas into a plasma. This plasma would accelerate through the barrel, and hopefully into a deserving clanker. Like the E11, each cartridge had the equivalent of 500 shots, and each power magazine could energize 100 shots. It's said that clone troopers would keep extra power cells, but they usually wouldn't go into battle with extra Tavano Gas cartridges, saying that it was far too dangerous to reload this cartridge in the heat of battle, and they would instead just swap them out after the mission was completed. But although this was Republic Army policy, I think many clones were willing to take the risk, instead of worrying about running out of shots in the middle of a firefight. There were also some interesting variants of the DC-15S, including the ability to fire a grappling hook. We saw Captain Rex in the Torrent detachment use this during the Battle of Teth, and the hook would be fired from the barrel with the cable attached to the folding stock. And there were also some D-15Ss that had a stun setting, like we saw used by young Boba Fett on the Endurance. This weapon was loved for its rapid fire, and its lighter weight allowed him to be dual-wielded and even fired like a pistol. And when the Republic wanted to arm resistance fighters, it seems like the D-15S was the weapon of choice. And the D-15S's history ends when the Empire takes over and starts to upgrade nearly every element of the army. They asked Blastech to improve upon their design, and that's where they came up with the E11. Some stormtroopers did use the DC-15S for a short time, but before long it was all E11s from there on out. So that's where its history ends. And the only cool behind the scenes fact is just that, in a way, this gun is also based on the British Sterling L2A3 submachine gun, because that's what the E11 blaster rifle was based off of. And obviously, outside of the Star Wars universe, in our real world, the DC-15S came second, and was supposed to resemble the iconic Stormtrooper rifle. Well, that's it for the DC-15S. If you liked it, go ahead and hit that like button, and be sure to leave a comment down below if I missed any cool facts, or if you have a suggestion for future videos. Be sure to follow us on Instagram at MetaNerdsLore, so you can see us build Star Wars props and cosplays, along with some other cool Star Wars stuff. If you want to help support this channel, check out the description below for our Amazon store and our Patreon. And be sure to subscribe, because we're making videos like this every single day. But more important than all that, remember, don't let your commander catch you reloading your Tavano Gas cartridge in the middle of a firefight, and the Force will be with you, always.